Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, D Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab, just having fun doing what I do for you. I got something nice for you today. We got some good information for you. Let's do what we do. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message with a story for life. I give life lessons. You tune to receive them. You got a good thing going. Let's continue. Right thinkers mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinkers' way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is to give you everything you need to make that possible. So your goal is to tune in, get it, and use it. And know that self that I can guarantee if you practice and perform it, you'll know for yourself. So that's what you want to do. Know that self as the right thinker. That's our goal. Let's go. I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. Let's go. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and thinks that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows, but knows not that they know, is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm human as an clock, here to wake you up with knowledge of self. So I got you. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself and to Maya be true. I'm going to go into this next lesson. The title is Mishconnect is Karma. What? Yeah, let's break it down for you. So let's talk about now the concept that underlies the principle of Shah. At the judgment seat, you see a few people there. Shah is you standing there at the judgment den. Then you got Renunet, which is called the goddess of Mishkenet. Mishkenet is equal to who? The philosophy is equal to the philosophy of karma of the Indian, the Hindu, Samhaka, and the Vedanta's philosophy. They all have the concept of karma and the cultivation of what? An intuitive intelligence which understands what? The nature of creation and the oneness of all things, and the one hidden God has experience of what? Virtue, has controlled the senses, and has what? Upheld Maya. It will achieve Sa, spelled S-A-A. That's total understanding. Amenta, that's Amen's hidden place. And Ra, that's Ra, which is the intelligence or the knowledge of what? The Amenta of Ra, which is what? The hidden world. Okay? Our actions in life is what determine our fate. Why? Because the world is set up on the basis of what? Cause and effect relationships. Wow. Everything that happens is what caused to happen, and the effect of that cause is the result. Yep. If one does not pay, watch this, the light bill. Excuse me, 1 second. Yeah, sorry about that. Again, cause and effect. That's what we're talking about. That's duality. You can't have without one without the other. If there's a cause, it's going to be an effect. If there's an effect, it was a cause. So understand that. So the concept is right here. Everything happens is cause and effect, and the effect of the cause is the result. Now, if one does not pay the light bill, that's the cause. And what happens? The lights will be cut off. That's the effect. Similarly, one's deepest desires and aspirations, which is the cause, will what? Will determine one's fate. The effect. You control your fate Your destiny. Again, that's what's telling you. And they understood and know that. I want right thinkers to understand that now you are in control of whatever it is you do. Trust me. Now, either, watch this, cause and effect, some, now, mm, either in this, watch this, in this current life or in the future one. Why? If their ignorance, if through ignorance, one desires for material riches as the main goal of existence, think that's the end all be all? Okay, selfish, egoistic gains. One's consciousness will what? Will be focused on that goal. That's the cause. Now, doing life and the ideas that will come from what? One's consciousness will be centered around what? That goal, leading one to encounter, watch this, people and situations related to that interest. This occurs in a mystical as well as a practical way as what one's mental vibrations attract what others with similar mental vibrations. We attract what we are, not what we want and who we want. We attract like attracts like when it comes to your vibration concept. Okay. Now this, watch this. Thus, if one lives in fear, watch this, one will attract individuals and situations who will interact with one according to one's fears, like mine. Also, without one knowing it, watch this, one will be drawn into situations because of their fears. Again, fear, false evidence appearing real. You create the fear. Watch this. Now, if through, again, ignorance, one longs for a certain object or position and is not able to attain that goal what during one's lifetime, then one's what subconscious impressions will be carried, watch this, into one's mind after death. It continues, watch this, and will determine where one will go to fulfill those desires and aspirations where in the future incarnation. Yeah, you're gonna be reincarnated. And they call themselves putting you in the best situation. Hope you learn your lesson. That's the idea, the concept. So that's what Meskhenet does. Now watch this. Thus, if one longs, watch this, if one longs to be rich and to experience what life of luxury, which is fine, but was not able to attain it. We all dream of big, and if you don't attain it, watch this. Now, in your current life, what happened? One will be what? Drawn back to earth, reincarnated to what? Or some other world system where those cravings can what? Be further pursued. Again, misconnect is karma. What's this? Another quick lesson. It's about one page. Yeah, page and one paragraph. Okay, watch this. Let's break down this right quick. Oh, I'm doing good. All right. You got Mishkanet as karma. The goddess Netter, Mishkanet represents karma, is our own, listen, is your own subconscious mind with its complex desires and cravings. These determine our fate. You are what your thoughts are. Thus, our fate is what? Determined by, here we go, the level of wisdom, knowledge that we have acquired. Because if we are very wise, we will know the difference between truth and illusion. Spirit needs to what? Spirit needs and ego desires illusions. Knowing the spiritual needs and understanding your ego is the desires and understanding they're just illusion. I don't live for material things anymore. I used to. I understand. Oh, he don't need nothing. No, I'm not saying it don't drive me. It don't move the needle for me. Simple as that. So don't get caught up. Oh, he don't need money. No, I don't do this for money. Understand that. When you get better at it, you'll understand. So I'm just a quick lesson. But spiritual needs over egoistic desires and illusions. Watch this. And thereby controlling the ego. Controlling the ego to what? To discover your true self. Here we go. dependent on one's spiritual background and evolution. Watch this. One's own experience. Excuse me. Dependent on one's spiritual background and the evolution of one's conscience. There you got another mess up. But conscience is spelled Conscience. That's the heart conscious, not the head conscious. I want to make a point, and I mentioned that. I want you to understand why. Because this conscious, Conscious, that's for the main head, the brain. The heart conscious is spelled Conscience. Why? Because it's been proven this where truth lies. This is the difference. And the two got to work as one. That's what knowledge of self and becoming awakened, what it's all about. That's just, I'm gonna break it down for you. And it's telling you. Now your conscious has developed what? Impressions, which is ideas about what that is true. Subconscious, watch this. Subconscious impressions are the sum total of what our experience is. Knowledge is what? Knowledge and feeling built up over one's current lifetime or several previous ones. Again, when you don't get the message, it circles over. And some of the memory carries on. That's what they're telling you. But watch this. Now, changing these impressions takes sustained what? You listening? Constant and patient effort on one's part. You got to put forth the effort. And therefore, what happened? It would be very ignorant to think, watch this, that one can live a life saying, I will live my life any way I please. Really? And at the end, I will change my personality. I keep pointing to my dad. He lived life on his terms. And at the end, he had nothing, no kid coming. Why? You didn't serve nobody but yourself. See, so understand that personality won't work. And if you think deathbed confession gets you in the gates, I can tell you, don't waste your life thinking, well, before I die, I tell them I'm sorry and that'll be okay. No, don't work that way. But those who do, they find out in the end. Let's go, moving on. But just the concept, and I got to use real examples to make certain points, not to beat up on my dad, but I use examples in life because that's what I learned them. Now watch this. Now, what one practices, one becomes. He practiced self-indulgence, pleasing himself, ego, and he lived that for his life. Simple as that. I did that for a part of my life. I was able to make the change. What's this? Now, you practice, you become what you practice. Now, once you have gained wisdom of the spirit world, there you go, become spiritually enlightened, and of your true self as spirit, knowing thyself. And what's this? Having determined our own destiny. Now I'm on the road where I need to go. Before I was on the road to destruction, okay, following a wrong leader. If you follow the wrong person, if he going the wrong way, you going the wrong way too. Simple as that. So now watch this. Meskhenet, here we go. She represents karma, and that's our knowledge and wisdom will what enable the emergence of your divine powers within us to what see through the greatest evil. You need to be able to see through the greatest evil, and that is, you ready? Ignorance, okay, and achieve what? The highest good, aka Son and Bunny, I call it the supreme good. We know it now to be spiritually enlightened, okay, know thyself, okay, but in order for that to happen, you have to disparage the ego and reach the highest good. Watch this, to become Haru. Again, we are Haru. Once we recognize and realize that that's who we are, sons of God, okay? Our Father, the widow's son. Watch this. We are now what? Fit to assume. We are now, once you recognize yourself, once you raise your conscious level, once you know yourself, you are now fit to assume a new what? Eternal, immortal, spiritual body, aka a Sahu, meaning a spiritual being. An enlightened being, excuse me, illuminated being, meaning you have the light inside you. You know who you are, and you will shine for eternity. When you get it, you can't lose it. So understand that, and wrapping it up with this one. Now, in which we will what? Live with God. That's the goal for all right thinkers. Meskhenet presides over what they call destiny of the individual doing what? Birth and death, thereby administrating what? The disposition of the individuals by according to what? The actions of what? Their conscience. Again, the heart, spelled Conscien, and it goes ab. They call it the ab the heart. And as weighed against what? The feather of Mayat, truth and righteousness. Okay, if your heart is purified with truth and righteousness and virtue living, it will measure up to the feather of Mayat, which represents that. That's the goal. Level is cool. Okay, lighter than is even better. That means you really excel at doing the right thing. Now, our present lives are what? A result, listen, of what? Our past consciousness, not with the heart spell, is with the mind. Why? Because the mind gets taken away. After death, they throw the brain away. They keep the heart. That's where the truth lies. That's the difference. So that's why it's spelled different. Okay, hope you understand that. So when your past consciousness didn't get woken up, the past state of mind, our present mental level of consciousness again determines our actions, and our actions what determine the situation in which what we will create for ourselves in the future. If you are egoistic, you're going to do things that the consequences you're going to have to suffer through. That is going to hurt. It's not going to be good. And the other side, you do what's right, you live right, virtuous, and righteousness, you will be rewarded. That's the difference. And watch this. Now, in this way, at every moment, by our thoughts, we determine what? Our destiny. Thus, a person whose consciousness is centered at the what? Second energy level in the soccer center may find him or herself what? Attracted to situations which involve sexual encounters. That's the lower level. That's around the growing area for male and female. That means you like to bump and grind, and that's the level you're on. That's what you're going to aspire to do. It don't make a difference, again, male or female. That's a level of mentality. Okay. Now, a person centered at the fourth level, which is the heart energy consciousness or the chakra system, may find what? Him or herself in what situations where love relationships. Why? Because you're caring. You probably in a relationship who you care for, so you doing certain things. That's what's going on. But that's where you at with your situation. So watch this. Therefore, the accumulation of Mishkanet, aka karma, is found at every level, every energy center, and at the crown of the head, which is the Uraeus, the serpent, awakening. That's the protection, or the Buto, which watch this, where one finds what? Union with the sun disk, aka Netter. Now, in order to rise above the situations and pains experienced in the lower levels, it is necessary to what? Raise one's consciousness. That means obtain knowledge of self, get better at spiritual understanding. Thus, watch this, if one wants to attain cosmic knowledge, come check me out, one must have that as one's first priority at all times. Therefore, one's goal, right thinkers, are and endeavors must be first to attain purity of what? Heart, conscious, and unconscious mind. And he got the conscious spell with the Conscious. That means that the conscious mind have to become conscious of the heart conscious mind, and this right here, the unconscious mind. And what happens then to what? Contribute to the world at large. Further purity of the heart means what? That one, watch this, one must practice outstepping one's ego. You have to get above the ego self. Thus, watch this, identifying with the universe inside of just a single minuscule personality among countless others. Wrapping it up, it is the ego, one's concept of oneself as in what? individual personality, me, I, ego, you edge God out, who takes, watch this, the responsibility for actions and thoughts. Therefore, it is the ego that is what tied to the outcome of a given situation. Again, it don't care. If the spirit forgets, watch this, that it is separate, a separate entity from the ego self, that the ego is only what is tool to have and tangible means to what interact with in the world. Then the spirit will what will be on will be bound along with the ego to whatever the effects of its actions are. I tell you, ego self will do itself. It don't care about the consequences. You don't care what the repercussions is. You want what you want, when and how you want it. It's very destructive. That's why the hatchet implicates that. Okay. Jealousy, greed, all negative connotations are of the ego self. That personality is never good. Why? It's never going to stand for its own actions. It's going to leave you holding the bag, so to speak. Okay. So let me wrap it up. Yeah, I see. Okay, now our level. Watch this. Our level of what wisdom depends on what our ability to be able to discern. Here you go, between the real and the unreal. All these mega preachers, they got a bunch of people who have very low discernment in what they're doing to them. Why? Because if they knew better, they wouldn't be giving their money. So their discernment between what's real and not real is not good. And they prey on that. They perform for that. Okay? That's the show. Moving on. Now, as a confused and ignorant mind, watch this, cannot easily determine the truth. Again, see it every week. I laugh at myself. So therefore, what? The ego and its desires are the cause of the bondage of the soul, mental confusion, and mental distraction. Instead of being led to higher achievements, evaluations, and bliss, the spirit will be what? Led to worlds of mental illness, the cycle of aimless pleasures and pain of the world of time and space. We know joy and pain. We know we go through the roller coaster of life up and down. That's the emotional life that we live. But watch this. Thus, it is understood that when one consciously practices right thinking, aka yoga, and succeed in what? Changing one's level of consciousness, raising it, one's what? Mishkanet karma, negative entanglements with the world will begin to what? Disintegrate. Okay, the ego will acquiesce. Wrapping it up. Selfless service. Right, thinkers, this is us right here. Selfless service is known as Ari Mayat in ancient Egyptian philosophy or a karma yoga in Indian yoga philosophy, and the performance of actions with the attitude of what? Relinquishing the ego desires and allowing what? The spirit to dictate one's action. Let your conscience be your guide. Live from the heart. Truth and honesty starts here, not here. Okay? The ego starts here. In this manner, contentment arises what? One becomes mentally free of tension derived from what? Conflicts between one's conscience. Watch this. Conscious, which is spelled Conscience. That's the heart. And one's what? Desire. That's the egoistic mind. They ain't on the same page. See where I'm going with this? Hope you understand it. And watch this. Now, at the same time, they're free from what? Mishkanet and karma. Self-service is what? Is serving oneself in what? The best possible way. Because one serves what? Your higher self, which is in everything, in oneself, in others, the sky, the ocean, and everywhere, aka God, omnipresence, omniscient. So, from the highest perspective, perfect selfless service, working what? To bring true harmony, knowledge to self, and peace into what? one's life through what? The attainment of enlightenment, not belief, is also what? The most selfless way of life. I'm not dropping the pen yet. I'm almost there though. But this is the sanest, this is the sanest way of life. Why? Because fulfillment can only arise out of, you listen, the satisfaction of the higher self, the absolute reality. Insanity develops from what? The search of pleasures and satisfaction of the ego, where the ego can never be satisfied because it is an illusion. Selfless service does not mean service to your country to promote patriotism, racism, or sexism. Thus, are only larger forms of what? Egoism, which in the end leads to society wide feelings and envy, mistrust, hostilities, and selflessness. These are the things when ignorant people suffer. I got a quick scale I'm going to show you. I'm wrapping this lesson up. See that scale right there? One says the conscience with the heart. The other one shows you wisdom and justice. So when they balance out, that's what you want, equanimity. And it says on the left, which is the conscious, that's Meskhenet. She's in the birth and brick form. On the right, the feather Maya, which represents wisdom and justice. Meskhenet karma, an individual own consciousness, which is the heart, the ab, determines his or her fortune, Shah, and the destiny, excuse me. Mishkanet on the birth and break presides at what? Judgment and birth, death, and of the individual soul. Below, they got a bunch of hieroglyphics, but you got to see at the picture of yourself, Shah, the two twins stand there, represents harvest and destiny. You reap what you sow. That's karma. Mishkanet represents karma. That's the lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Oh, I got something else coming for you. I'll be back.